Hi, I'm Mrs. P. Smith, the Mama Bear at school, your favorite ELA and SPED teacher, but always teaching my students about business.
I'm Miss Rose, commonly known as the snarky teacher, always ready with the good candy. The kids say I'm their favorite math teacher. After school, it's lights, camera, action. During school hours, it's Miss Carter, the life science teacher saving lives.
We got the queens in the house, y'all. Real teachers of Atlanta.
Welcome back to another episode of The Real Teachers of Atlanta. I am Nikki.
I'm Ty.
Joya.
And today we also have with us Teacherman91, aka Roger.
Thank you.
Nice to have you in the building, sir.
So it's Roger.
Yes, Roger.
How did you get the name Teacher Man?
I was sitting on my bed. It was like July 2019, and I was scrolling on my phone, and some told me to Google the top teachers of Instagram, and I was scrolling through, and I was like, nah, I'll be honest, I was like, man, they look corny. Like, I'll be honest with you.
Some of the teacher names.
Yeah, corny.
Just the teacher pages. It was like, it's corny. It was no like personality.
Very elementary schoolish.
Yeah.
No offense.
And
Uh-oh.
that was my thoughts. And I was like, it was like taking pictures in the classroom. It would look good aesthetically, but I taught at a suspension school. So that wasn't my reality. So my idea was, let me show teachers what I go through. You know what I mean? And I teach at where a lot of teachers run from. So let me show them what I go through, and I represent a black male educator. I didn't see any black male educators on there either, on the top teachers. And I didn't really know much either way. So I was like, I was born in 1991. So Ha Davis had these skits, and he used to his phrase always ended with man. And I was like, all right, teacher man, and then I born in 91. So I put 91 together, and then
The birth of Teacherman, 91.
That's
what's
like
up.
Teacherman 91.
So you say you taught at a suspension school?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about your
Alternative.
experience. Alternative schools.
Sorry, I couldn't think of the name at this moment.
Okay, yeah. So tell us about your experience with that. Like, what was that like? What type of children did you run into?
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I was so happy I got a job. I didn't even take a look. I didn't do my research on the school.
Okay.
So, the first red flag, I did the interview, and then on the way home, 20 minutes later, they said I was hired.
Yeah.
That was a red flag right there.
Red flag number one. Hired within 30 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Job on the first day.
Exactly.
Listen, when the email call,
That's what like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I didn't even get out the parking lot good.
That was
good. You need a job.
yeah.
Okay, so they hire you.
Yeah, I was hyped.
Okay.
I put it on Facebook. This is 2016. I put it on
You
Facebook.
put it on Facebook.
I was like, I'm on my way. I'm making out the hood. But I didn't know the salary either, the top two. So
That was where I was getting to.
You go
Red
right
flag
back
number
to
2.
it.
They didn't tell you how much.
You didn't even know you should be making 30,000.
Hell.
So I was like, I'm thinking, I feel like I've made it to the drive. I'm like,
Yeah,
yo,
right.
Oh my God! Stop.
I'm about to move out. I'm about to do everything.
Checking out the outfit.
Laying out the clothes.
You got money now.
Yeah.
I got
Big
money.
So,
and then I was like, I'm from the hood too. So I'm like, how hard can it be? I'm a black male. They probably going to just relate to me off the rip. Then I got there my first day, and I realized like, this is going to be some work.
Wow.
and these are the hoods of.
This is the South Bronx.
Okay.
So this is 7th grade, but a lot of them been held back a few times. Some kids were, in legal issue. They're on parole. Some of them, so I had 7th graders, but some of them were 14, 15, some 16. I had 8th graders that was 18.
In the 8th grade.
Yeah, 7th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah, so
18 in the 7th grade.
Yeah, and so basically I'm teaching high school, but their mindset was 12, 13.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the background, I was talking to the counselor, named Joyan, and he was telling me a lot of these kids live in shelters, so they close at 5, so they got to rush home to get to the shelter.
Wow.
Holidays come, that's the worst time for them because in poverty, so they're not getting Christmas gifts. Some of them facing eviction.
Wow.
So
The worst of the worst
right.
things.
So I was like, why do kids so hard on me? I'm a black male, I relate to them. Now I realized all I was doing was teaching. So I started going to the gym classes and playing basketball with the boys, doing volleyball with the girls, going to the lunchroom, hanging out with them. So the more time I spent outside the classroom, the better it got for me down the line.
They appreciated you.
Just quizzes and tests. They didn't take any. So I implemented homework. That was a fight.
Wait,
know?
so go back.
Yeah.
You said that they didn't require the students to do quizzes and tests.
Because this
Because
is a suspension school.
Background to that.
Alternative.
So they don't.
Well,
so
here we call it alternative school.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like open campus.
So I guess my question is, how are you assessing the students to see what they know or?
They wasn't.
Wow. Okay.
So when the orientation, the lowest score you get in the state exam is 1. 96% of kids had level 1. So I was happy with that because I'm like, I can't do worse than that.
Right.
I'm like, I can't do worse than that.
Right.
I was like, I can't do worse than that. So that was the good news, but it was a lot of work. So when I started giving weekly quizzes, like every 6 weeks I gave a unit exam. I started doing homework revision. So I would post the lesson on YouTube and then attach the homework to the video. So now they have resources because I realized a lot of the parents, they work in 2-3 jobs. Some of the kids told me that their parents aren't even there sometimes, so they're raising themselves. So who's there? Make sure they do the homework.
Right.
So I was putting it on YouTube. I was staying after school for free and making sure they get the work done. I realized I was doing too much, but back then I really wanted to help them. But that kind of burnt me out too.
Yep.
Doing all that.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you about that.
This
This is your first year when you were doing all that, because I feel like
my
every
fourth year.
first year, like the early stages when you first become a teacher, I think you do the most.
Yeah, I was
For
doing
a lot of teachers, that's the reality. Like you just jump in and you're like, I'm gonna fix all the problems right now. It's great. So how did you? At what point did you overcome that? Or did you overcome it?
It didn't take me until my 5th year to have boundaries. My second and last year.
Your 5th year.
My 5th year.
To say enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Yep.
That 5 years too long.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
It's like too long. But they took it. I feel like the administrators took advantage of it. I was so passionate.
That's the part I want you to get to. You got to before I ask. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it took like the 5th year. I was like, they're really playing me. You know what I mean? Because, and it hit me too when the state exam scores came back my 3rd year. The principal came asking me, why are the scores like this? And I'm like, what you mean? In my mind, I'm like, what you mean why the scores like this? You see me doing all I could do to help them.
Yeah.
And after that, I realized, so if I'm going 100%, 110%, I'm going to get blamed. If I'm not doing nothing, because there's a lot of teachers that weren't even doing half what I was doing, and he wasn't talking to them. So I'm like, you're expecting all this stuff out of me, but you're not expecting the stuff out of these teachers. And that getting paid more than me as well, because they go by the years.
Right.
So even to a point where this teacher, he taught geometry and he was terrible. And the superintendent came and the superintendent told the admin, I have to teach his class. They're going to remove him to another class. So I'm like,
they want you to teach his class now.
Yeah, they gave me his class. So I taught his class on top of my classes. I'm thinking it's an honor, but I'm like, damn.
Most teachers do. They find it that when administrators, they say, hey, why don't you do this? Or hey, why don't we give you this extra work? It's like, I'm doing a great job.
Nah.
But you're finding out that is really not the case at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they play you.
They play.
They got you.
Yeah.
Got you good. How did and
Wow.
so you woke up, how did you start to implement those boundaries? Like when you woke up, you're just like, okay, this is crap.
Well, my business took off, my tutoring business.
Okay.
Yeah. So it got to the point where and I wasn't afraid. I was afraid to lose my job. So when I was focused on one income, this is how I eat. So I was like, I was afraid to make them. I didn't want to disappoint them. My admin, I wanted to let them know. And I played football. I played football in college. It's the same mentality, like the hardest worker.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be the hardest worker, the first one there. So I took that mentality, but not realizing this is a business. This is not sports. So they don't align.
Say that again. School is
it's a business.
It's a business.
It's a business.
It's $1 billion
I
industry.
understand though, what you saying, you play football, because a lot of athletes have a competitive nature.
Right.
When I first, like my early years of coming into education, I was at a school, and came testing time at the end of the year. the admin came to me questioning me about the testing scores. However, it wasn't on me because I'm getting these kids at the tail end, like I'm getting them first semester.
Right.
You're testing them first semester based on what they should have gotten in the previous semester. So those test results shouldn't have been a reflection of, what I taught them as of yet.
Right.
So, I was like, they coming at me
you
about
still
the
feel
test score. I felt the way. And guess what?
Away.
I had to come hard.
Yeah.
I had to show you what's up. So the next, my tenure at that school, test scores spoke for themselves because you wasn't going to get another opportunity to come at me.
Exactly.
And you shouldn't have came at me in the first place because that was on somebody else. They were, low in reading and everything else. That wasn't on me, but
I think they know who they can
play with.
They know who they can play with. They know who they can push, and they do it. And I think when you're fresher, you're new to the school or you're new to education, it's like you're prey and they're like the hawk and they're like, we got one now.
Right.
And I'm going to see what I can get. And they do. They push and they push and they push. And either you cave and you fall in line for what they want or you leave. Yeah. And those that stay and then go against the grain are the ones that they're just like, it's always a problem. Somehow they're looking for a problem until then you're under this like new scrutiny and this magnifying glass because they're looking for that one thing that they can get you on because we're contract employees, I got to find that one violation, that one thing. Yep. And we've experienced that where it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I'm not playing nice.
Playing the game.
You know what I'm saying? So now they're looking. Every little thing, you put a check mark in the wrong box. So what is this about? That type of feeling?
It almost makes me wonder who else are they answering to for them to behave that way. And, exactly. So it's the superintendents that's pushing them to go in a particular direction with the school. Like you said, a lot of teachers, they do push back and they say, okay, well, let me teach math this way. And I don't teach math, I do science. But from the math friends that I do have, the ways that the counties are telling them to teach is just not working at all. And they'll have the script right in front of them. They will read it to the T and the kids will still fail. Yeah. After the county told them to do whatever they want them to do, this recipe for success, and it's still not working.
It's all about the kids. How do you want to service your children? And you have to step away from the standards. You have to step away from how they want you to teach to really get down in the trenches to teach your students. You're in the classroom with your students every single day. You know how they learn. And I had to tell one of my directors or somebody in leadership, hey, my kids cannot read. They're not on grade level reading. There's no way possible I can get in here and teach them a standard. For an example, I cannot give them an 8th grade standard if they're reading on a 2nd grade level. It's impossible. We can we could try to follow it, but this text cannot be 8th grade. They cannot read it.
And then you got to differentiate it so much.
Don't look, listen.
Differentiate is a dirty word.
You're going into some different territory.
Now you added more work.
Because now we have stations, we got the quizzes zone. And I taught social studies for a semester. I believe it was a semester. And they told us, hey, go to the county if you have any questions. So we have this county meeting. We're on the Zoom at the school where we taught. And I said, yeah, we did. I said, hey, these students cannot read. Social studies is heavy reading, critical thinking. What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're going to come up with some. And then she looked back like she was fake talking to somebody in the background. Oh, yeah, we're going to meet next week. And then, so I'm looking through the email. I'm like, okay, are we going to meet? Never heard from the woman ever again.
I do remember that. She literally did turn around. She was like,
no answer.
It really, I do remember that.
She had no answer. What do you want me to do? Give me the tools so that I can help these students. All I want to do is help them. But if I don't know what.
On top of, we didn't have any resources and we were doing it together. I was a math teacher. I ain't even certified in social studies. So we were trying to
figure it out.
She teaches social studies.
Jesus.
We was in there talking about what I told them. Australia is a continent and a country. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I couldn't read this off the internet. Google said And she in there talking about
Now, I know social studies, but I know that ain't it.
I will make it up.
We not
okay, I'll make it up.
I think after World War One, World War II, that's when it kind of just went down.
We had the social studies debate.
Yeah, but the county didn't know what to do.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, they're cheap. You know, they want to just, instead of hiring someone that teaches that subject, you put other teachers in a bad situation. Because what if a kid that knew that and like, this teacher know what they talking about? Then you make the teacher look bad.
Well, they go through
right.
Yeah, they do the points. Is it the points? The teacher points. So we had the points.
Yeah.
But we just had other people that were there that
they moved teachers around.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they said, well, this is
moved around.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right. They gave me her class.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's trading classes.
Yes, that's what happened.
And then what we were told, well, it's not a tested subject, so it's not like they don't have to pass it. But
Special
mind you, now I've got
was more important than
correct because we didn't have enough people to serve. Right? Was that it? Like we didn't have enough special education teachers to service the students that we had. On top, that's what they said. On top of, and social studies is not a tested subject for standards.
But like y'all saying, to go back to what you're saying, you adding more special education teachers instead of giving me the resources to stop the bleed.
That's right.
In the first place.
Exactly.
I honestly, and I've read this a couple of times, and maybe this is just another time for another day, but I have read a couple of times where, special education is kind of, they're using it as a Band-Aid to deal with kids just not being on grade level. Like it's not that they have some learning disability, or it's not just the kid has ADHD or anything. They're just behind because they didn't get what they needed in the beginning.
Right.
So now we're in middle school. They're not able to test on grade level. They must have something. Put them in special education.
Yeah.
No, they just didn't get what they needed in kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade, and now we're in sixth grade, and little Susie's still on the first grade level.
Or to go back to your point earlier, they may not have the support at home.
That too.
Yeah.
So it's not that they have a learning disability. It's just that they don't have anyone to sit down with them and say, okay, we're going to turn the games off. We're going to put the phone down that the parent pays for, but the parent act like they don't know how to manage and how to tell their kids to not get on TikTok. Okay, but we're going to sit down. We're going to read this book together every single night. We're going to go over the words you don't know. There are a lot of kids that just don't have that support at home.
Right.
Or the kids that are in general education need support too, because
definitely
if you look at them, we'll have a whole lot of kids that with that lack of educational resources, they should be in special education
definitely
too.
Absolutely.
But the teacher has so much responsibility that they can't do the proper testing to grab those ones that identify that need special education services.
I don't know about here, but in New York, parents get SSI checks for putting their kids in special education. So a lot of parents are just putting their kids in there. They pimping their kids.
Pimping the kids.
Check.
So they
because you get a check for ADHD.
Oh, we get a check for this? Oh, put them in special education.
661
Put them in special education.
Yeah.
So can we talk a little bit more about that? Because a lot of people don't know. So there are parents, not all parents, but don't please.
So y'all
they're going to come.
Don't even start in the comments. Stop.
I ain't in it. Y'all been on me, so.
I'll take the heat. So here we go. So there are a lot of parents, some parents that find it beneficial to put their children in special education because they get a check.
And they come there for it. That's the only reason they come for it.
Yeah.
They come for it. They come for the SSI checks.
Yeah.
But to sign off and get the money, but anything else ain't coming. If they get the SSI check, or if someone put hands on their kid or the teacher talk crazy to the kid, that's when they run to school for it. Other than that,
because you gotta go to the doctor and everything. So they can go there, but they can't go to no teacher conference.
They can go to anything that's free. I'm gonna go get my well check up for my kid. I'm gonna go see the therapist, the psychiatrist. I'm gonna go to all the appointments, go on the MARTA bus, whatever I gotta do. They can get there, and I know they're gonna say something because I said it, but it is true.
It's true.
They can get that. They can find that 225 to catch that bus anywhere they gotta go.
Nikki.
As soon as it's time.
Smoke
to say something to do something for real, they can't get there. I mean, hey, that's the reality because that is something that is a problem.
It is.
A lot of parents, even kids that have 2-parent households, it's hard because now both parents got to work to pay the bills and to not even live, just be right here above water. Both parents got to work. So even with me, when I tutor, I make all my kids do homework every day. And it's hard for parents to sit with their kids, do it every day. I usually make sure they do it. So I could imagine if they don't have any support. And some parents are just burnt out.
Teacherman, let's start right there.
Yeah.
Homework.
Ooh. Let's argue it up.
Let's argue that.
Homework, no homework.
Homework, because 30% of kids in the classroom are behind grade level in math and reading.
Okay. Now you got that statistic, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a woman that loves numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You do.
Right.
Wait, what?
That happened.
Not that crap that y'all be doing.
Wait a minute, statistics.
I'm a business woman.
Okay.
Those type of numbers.
Yeah.
Listen,
Me and Nick
I stand correctly. Those type of numbers,
You
not
like dollars
algebra,
and cents.
expressions, geometry, shapes.
We ain't gonna talk about it.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
The facts.
How many students are doing homework that we send the homework home? How much homework you get back once you done send it home?
So, like, let's say 30 kids, you're going to get back 6, and 2 of them going to do it properly.
That's what I'm talking about.
And 4, you're going to just
Copying off.
copy off somebody. And the crazy part is they copying off the wrong answers. Like, it's the same answer.
Jesus Christ.
It's the same wrong answer and the same misspelled words.
Good
Like,
Lord.
That's it. I can't do my kids like that because they done, some of them done mastered how to go on the website. They know what website to go on to get that page.
But
that
you
gonna
know
print
what?
You
from.
playing yourself though.
I be
you know, okay.
wanting you to mess up a word because, Lil Johnny, I know how you write.
Listen, you know what?
I
would
know
say
what
this.
reading level you on.
I have told
It ain't no way you said this word right there.
right. But when it comes to math, one of the things I kind of
Stop
felt
playing.
like was when it comes down to like the homework and just like I was looking more like effort. Like,
Right.
would you at least try?
Yeah.
So
Right.
if they at least went to Socratic and took the picture and wrote down how they did it, I was like, that's exposure. Because
Right.
at that point, that was a win.
Right.
You know,
I
because it
agree.
was just so bad. I mean, I was sending home homework, the little QR code next to it, they take the picture, it's a
Right.
video on how to do it. You know, like literally, this is how you solve this problem. I was creating videos, like, it was crazy.
That you
And
don't
so
get
I'm
paid
just
for.
like, spending my good time and
Right.
stuff. And at the end of the day, I was just like, oh, if you took the time to just take the picture, upload it to this website,
Right.
see how they solve it, and then copy it down, that was more exposure than I was getting
Right.
from a kid who just said, I'm throwing this in the
Because
trash.
you still learn
Something.
Right.
Yeah.
At least you knew something.
more than what you
Well,
knew
here go
before.
the parents. Why they sending this homework
Mhm.
home for?
It's
I don't
too
know how to
much.
do it. Why you didn't do it in school?
Lazy.
And then why she sent all this homework home?
This big
I
old
mean, how
packet.
much
it's-
responsibility can we do?
It's
Right.
just what he said, lazy. You can find out how to do anything in the world
Mm.
at this point.
Know how to put that quick weave in.
Melt down that
Can I-
lace front.
Can I finish, please?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Can I please?
You got it. Because I can't have no more texts.
I forgot what I was
Teacher Man and Miss Carter. Y'all go ahead.
I just got back, so.
I think students don't find the reward in doing homework.
Right.
How can we as educators, for those that give homework, kind of give students an incentive to see that if you do the homework, you can actually get better at this skill?
The incentive is you get better. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you have to like people don't understand that you have the difference between someone that's successful and average
Mhm.
is a person going to do it without a reward.
Yep.
Like it's plain and simple. There's no really reward for getting homework done.
Nope.
And that's
It's the-
discipline.
Right.
Discipline.
That's
and
the discipline.
Where's the video
That's it.
on? I don't know if you've seen it. There's a video about LeBron James and how much he practiced, right?
Right.
I know. I always like to take it to sports with my kids. And this is something I even get with my son about because he plays travel ball and he had them days, right? So it's like, I tell him all the time, LeBron James didn't just sit up there and only go to practice when it was time to go to practice.
Right.
He was doing on his own his homework. He was watching
Right.
other people, looking,
Mhm.
getting help, asking questions, wanting to get better. Those are the people who separate themselves because your time spent doing the thing, the practicing, the homework
Right.
is the time where you are getting a step ahead of everybody else who's doing
I agree.
nothing. So the more hours you got in, the better you are versus the kid who only goes to practice and only practices
bare
when they
minimum.
tell
The bare
right.
minimum.
And-
Those kids are only going to play middle school and high school. You can go to play college or something else. So
Right.
it's just a difference that time in.
And for people who don't understand sports, the Beyonce movie, Blue Ivy, she wanted to
Mhm.
join her mom's tour. She did it. She had criticism. I think a friend showed her online,
Mhm.
and she seen what people thought of her, And that made her like, hey, let me get it together and put the work in on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's doing the work without her mom telling her and being on her. And as the tour went on, she got better and better and better because she's seen, just because you Beyonce daughter don't mean we just gonna praise you. You know, and her parents tried to hide from social media not to see that, but she needed to see that. And a lot of the kids today are not hearing from people.
Man,
you need to get it together.
That's right.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
We do too much pampering.
But as instructors,
I said that in one episode. Kids too soft, boy.
It is what it is.
And but the thing is, as instructors, as teachers, and parents, you have at this point to move you from this space to the next space. And even going back to the homework part, I think a lot of kids don't have a goal of what they want to do or what they want to be.
We give them the goal, Joy.
Oh, we do.
Speaking of the homework, going back to the homework, as an ELA teacher, we tell the parents when you come to the conference, when you show up for open house, have your child to read at least 20 minutes every day. Your kid reading level is not a lot. It's not, but it's a start.
Yeah, right.
But I think kids have to find a value in what they're doing. So if in your mind, if you have a kid that says, okay, well, I want to be, and this is just a stereotype, but if they want to be a rapper or an athlete or an artist, that's fine.
Right.
But what else? What are some of the other options? Do you want to be a doctor or an engineer or a chemist, or do you want to own a business? I think that kids don't have, like, what is the goal? What are you working toward? Yeah, okay, I can't read. Okay, I'm reading this book, but then what is the next piece? Because in order to know how to read, or in order to become a chemist or these amazing things, I have to know how to read. So what is it that I'm working toward? It's great, yes, that, you tell little Johnny that he can't read, and now you put in his mind the goal to read. But kids have to see the long term. They have to see the end, and then work backwards.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. But think of it in a different way. To be a rapper or a doctor or a lawyer, any of those things, anything that you want to be, that you're putting up here, all of those things are obtainable. But they all start with the same fundamental needs. Right. So instead of saying, okay, you can't read, we could phrase it as, okay, if you want to do this thing, because to be a rapper, you have to be a great lyricist to be a great rapper. You need to be a strong reader and a strong writer and be an engaging, good storyteller. And in order to do that, right? If you want to do any of those things, I need to be able to read. Okay, so guess what? Now, Lil Johnny, who wants to be a rapper, has motivation to learn how to read and understand lyrics and understand onomatopoeia and how to spell it.
Well, I got to play the devil's advocate. Yeah. Two things. One thing, I think we need to stop telling children that they can't read. Yes. Because if they keep putting this in their mind, I can't read, they never go to try to learn. Oh, they already think I can't read, so I'm not going to do it. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's how you say it.
Second thing is, just going back to your point about being a chemist, about being a rapper, I think as educators, and we're not in control over the curriculum that we teach. But I think we need to, or tell the curriculum makers, or just start implementing ourselves. Pick kids, especially where you from. They might not even know what a chemist does. They got to be exposed to this type of text. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what is a chemist?
That is true.
They have to be.
They may know about the street way. Right, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And it's about the exposure.
Do they really know how much money they can make?
Right.
The legit
way. They don't know. And to your point with the chemist and the rapper and the lawyer and doctor, a lot of kids say that because it sounds good. But let's keep it real. There's only 2% black male teachers, 5% black women teachers, right?
Right.
Imagine the percentage of black chemists, black doctors and lawyers. That's less than 1%. That's almost as hard as making it to the league.
Yeah.
So now it's like athletes, they get it because their goal is first college. I want to play college sports. Then they go so their motivation to be in class and good grades is to be eligible to play. That's what kept me in school. But what about the average student? What's their motivation? A lot of them don't have it. And then a lot of kids, even I talk to my kids at a tutor, I'm like, what's your purpose? I don't got none. So you just waking up. And just going
they
through the
have no goals.
That's
they have no goals at all. Right. And it's nothing for them to attain to. And I with our reading, then look, I don't want you to have any fallacies about what you think that this is, because life can be very hard.
That's very true.
So let's get you from this point to this point here.
Right.
But kids, they need to have some type of goal, and they need exposure. Right. Exposing students to your melanated doctors and your lawyers and showing them, hey, all doctors are not Caucasian. Right. All chemists are not Caucasian. It goes back to even to our history.
Yeah.
Pre-slavery. And seeing that, hey, the people that did the mathematics, they look just like you. Right. And so for you to sit in the classroom and you're looking at people that created the mathematics and the art and the chemistry and they look just like you, they're like, hold on, wait, I can do this. I can do this. Yeah.
You have to make it interesting and make it relatable. That's why you got to
bring that in.
That's right.
As a teacher, you got to bring that in. Mm-hmm. But I'm not, I know we said, I've said it too. You can't read. Especially when the kids tell me I got an OnlyFans page. That's when I gotta let you know.
Don't do the shot fake because we all know these kids.
I've never heard that before. Ever.
Okay.
That is really
crazy.
You got an OnlyFans page, but you can't read.
Yeah, they can set up everything.
That's when
So they know about OnlyFans.
That's what I'm talking about.
They know how to navigate. The kids, the thing I have said for a long time, kids get into the things that they are surrounded by and interested in.
That's right.
So that's why for me, like even getting on social media, that was motivated through my students.
Yeah.
Because my students was like, look, I'm at the house and I don't have nobody explain this to me. Can you make me a video and post it? All right. Next thing I know, I'm recording tutorials before I can go home every night. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But my kids were engaged. Next thing I know, I'm doing live test review on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. And I got kids ain't even in my class joining these lives to do that. It's really reaching them where they are, but then showing them a positive version of the same things that they want to do. Because there are Christian rappers, there are rappers that don't cuss, there are people who don't show their whole body everywhere that are doing just as well as the people that do. There's women without a BBL.
Right.
All these things
That's not put out on social media, though.
in these wonderful, grandiose environments, and our kids just don't see it because,
You like BBLs? Huh? You like BBLs?
It's funny.
Wait a minute. What's
quick story?
Oh, Lord.
When in the Bronx, that's where Cardi B got her body done.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of Dominicans in the Bronx. So that's all I seen for I lived in the Bronx, in that area for 4 years. That's all I seen.
Mm-hmm. BBLs.
I seen bad jobs. I seen good jobs. I like good jobs.
Okay, with the legs and
but it's more of the. It's more on the other end. It's more bad jobs than good jobs.
The little legs and the big.
Yeah, that
chickens.
That
the ones that
like
chicken.
The ant bodies.
Yeah, that I don't like. But
that's what you call them now, ant bodies.
Yeah,
I call them chickens because that's what they look like.
And our kids see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what they see.
And they idolize it.
And waitress have it in the restaurants now.
The BBLs?
BBLs.
They do.
You gotta think if you go to a high end restaurant or in the Bronx, there's a lot of restaurants funded through drug money. So a lot of scammers and rappers and go to these restaurants. So these waitresses say, hey, I got to get a BBL, get good tips, and meet someone that can change my life. That's what's going on.
Hey, you got to do it. They're doing it here.
What does the BBL do? Like, okay, I got a BBL.
OnlyFans.
Put me at the top of the food chain.
OnlyFans.
You ain't
could
seen
get
a girl.
on.
What's the girl that
you could be a model and then they get paid on club hostings. Mm-hmm. So if you get big enough on Instagram, that's how Ari Fletcher got big. She got pregnant by G Herbo, and then I don't know if she got a body done, but she started doing club hostings and got her name up. Yeah, it's an investment for some. That's how someone will look at it.
It's an investment.
It's an investment.
It's an investment.
Just like tutoring.
Basically.
Yeah, just like tutoring.
So before we wrap up, let's talk about your tutoring business. So where can people find you?
On social media.
Okay.
So I use my social media to build the tutoring. Quick math. So 57 million people seen my page the past 3 months.
Wow.
So let's say a post gets 3 million impressions, right? 3 million people seen the post. 1,000 people would go to my profile. Out of 1,000 people, 12 people would click the link. So I made maybe 3 people out of 12 may reach out. I post 20 something times a day. So
how many?
20 something times a day, 20 to 30.
You post that much a day?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so 3 people per post click my link times 20 times 30, right? I always have clientele coming in. And then on top of referrals. But it started through Deval and Kadeem. I was at the 2020 during the pandemic. I started tutoring Jackson, their oldest son. And I knew this was my opportunity. I was like, if I do a good job with him, they have over 1 million followers at the time. If they put me in their page, it's going up.
Yeah.
So, and I knew that was going to happen at some point, so that was my opportunity. And that happened. He put me on his page, and his mom kept putting me on her story. And, she's big on education. Jackson and Cairo, Kaz, like their Kadeem's mother homeschooled them. Before,
so it's 3 kids?
Yeah, 3 kids. 4 now. They got Coda now. Their mom taught them, Kadeem's mother, their grandmother taught them how to read and write and do everything. So by the time I got them, they're already polished.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I just took him to the next level. So Jackson, he's in 7th grade now doing Algebra 1.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cairo's doing Cairo's doing multiplication. He's in 1st grade. He knows how to multiply and do long division. And once they put me on their page, 30 people reached out to me that same day. At the time, I had like 15 clients. 30 people reached out to me in 3 days. And then by 2021, by the time I retired from teaching, I had 40 clients.
Wow.
But I was making $15,000 a month my last year teaching off tutoring alone.
Say what?
$15,000 a month.
Off tutoring?
Yeah.
You hiring
at the
teachers?
time.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I definitely could do ELA. I'm trying to shoot my shot.
But my rent is $1,700. So I get
wow.
So
you was eating oodles and noodles.
Right. I was barely getting by. I was still riding a bike to work. I was still moving around because I'm in the hood, so I'm still moving around like I ain't got it.
As you should. As you should.
I ain't got it.
Know your audience.
But I told my kids, and because they was like, damn, like, like I had a Rolex on at the time. But I want to show them that you don't got to be in a block to look like this.
Right. Exactly.
So now what I realized, kids started asking me, how you start your social media? How you make money off this? How you make money off that? And I'm like, I'm changing lives because instead of going to doing the block because they put me on with a pack, they asking me how you do it with a phone. You know what I mean? So I started saving lives that way. And then I was giving back. Every month I'll give a pair of Air Forces to a kid for their birthday. And if a kid didn't have any clothes, every year I'll give back I gave out 50 pairs of my own sneakers.
Wow.
In the 6 years. In the 6 years. And all the clothes every year I didn't want, I gave it away. These are like name brand clothes too, like so they could feel good because I was in special ed.
Look at you now, baby.
Yeah,
wow.
Look at you now. That's it. What people
awesome.
Have. Yeah.
I was
you are
adopted.
the example.
That's right.
Yes.
I was adopted. And I grew up in poverty, and kids made fun of me for my clothes. So that's why a lot of kids don't want to go to school sometimes, especially coming from Christmas.
Oh,
yeah.
Hold it together.
Yeah.
You're right.
Especially coming from Christmas, everybody got new stuff on, and you don't got the last year clothes on. I know how that feels.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted more for them. But back to the tutoring. I paid off all my debt. I had $42,000 in personal and credit card debt. I paid it off because I knew I was gonna quit. So I wanted to make sure my overhead was low. So I woke up in the summertime. I went to the Val House, and he was like, you could retire one day. You could retire and do this full time. I was like man. And mind you, I'm in his house. He got a crazy mansion. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, damn, like. Going back to my apartment, I was depressed. I'm like, I just came from a nice place in Georgia, come back here with this cheap apartment. The at the time my roof was leaking. It was crazy.
Rough time.
I was like, I gotta do better in my life. And I thought, so when I woke up one morning, I texted the principal, I said, I'm done.
Just like that.
Yeah, because I was also on social media complaining about what we go through as teachers. And I'm like, why do I keep going? Why am I gonna keep I was like, why am I going to keep going on social media and complain about what I go through when I could just easily just change that and quit and do my own thing?
Wow. So
you know what I mean?
Just up and...
Right.
See, he did my pink paper shit. He did the pink paper like I did.
So now it's time for us to get them $20,000 a month. Not have me be a teacher and have my side hustle $20,000.
And now I'm doing like 25. The most I did was 30 in a month.
So you basically just do tutoring.
Yeah, and I do also. I make money on social media, and I do promos, and I have 2 or 3 teachers working with. I don't say people work for me; they work with me. But how that works is,
you got 4 now.
Yeah, what the hell?
We're gonna have a conversation afterwards.
Yeah.
And see if we can get Ty job.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not. Let me know.
Bye.
I'm not a tutor for nobody.
Right.
I'll push you out there. Hey, I'll be your backup, help you out, get you. But I'll be your
purpose
man.
is just to show teachers that you don't have to.
Going on.
We know we're never gonna get paid more. I'm just keeping it. We're never gonna get paid more. So I said, let me just stop putting that on my Instagram and promoting that because I don't want people to be comfortable with the problem. So instead of putting that out there on my page, I want to bring solutions and say, teachers, you can, but you can't start a business in one day. It started out as a hobby. So I tell teachers, find out what you're passionate about and then find out a way to get paid for it. You know, and it don't got to be, you don't have to start your LLC in one day. Just make a plan. And then if you want to tutor, for example, you have family members that have kids struggling. Start with that first. Start with one kid, build your confidence, you know, and then branch off. Because I stayed with 2 kids for a whole year before I got more clients. I wanted to see if I could actually do it.
Okay.
You know, get progress. And then, and then also, where I left too, the vibe at the school wasn't the same. I realized once the admin knew that I didn't need this, it started moving different. So that's when I told you the boundaries came. I said, listen, I'm going out. I'm leaving at as soon as 2:40 hit, I'm going. I'm coming in instead of coming at 7:00, I'm coming in at 8:20. We're not supposed to be here.
That's right.
And then then they put it, you don't care about the kids. I'm like, nah, I always care about the kids. They try to guilt trip.
Gaslighting.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Right.
Yes, that's the first. You know, that's always their first line of defense.
Yeah.
When we start moving different. You know, it's about the kids. Remember your why.
Right.
Your
Don't forget
superheroes.
your why.
Right.
Write your why down.
When they show us a little video.
Superhero. Y'all remember I had the Captain America shirt, Superhero Day Captain America shirt. I threw that shirt away like recently. I was like, this is the worst memory ever.
But I tell anybody, if you're teaching, you absolutely love the job.
Right.
You know,
It's a lot,
I don't
though.
think any teacher is in it for the income. We're in it for the service.
Right.
So
that's it.
So any more questions for Teacher Man before we head about this thing?
No, we just want to thank you for
thank you.
gracing our platform with your knowledge and just everything. Your story is very inspirational.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate it.
congratulations again.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, y'all looking at me. Okay. Well, thank you for following us, liking and sharing our content. We hope you like this episode.
We know you'll like it.
Yeah. We will make sure that we drop Teacher Man's credentials inside our description box in case you want to hit him up for some tutoring services. You do them online as well?
Yes, all Zoom.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So easily accessible. Is it just math or is it all subjects?
I have people, if you need other subjects, I could forward you to other teachers that teach that subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for tapping in with us today.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode and you want to see more content like this, please remember to subscribe and follow us at Real Teachers of Atlanta.
We got the queens in the house, y'all.